Here. Think. Welcome back, race fans, to episode number 12 of the Armchairs Racers podcast. I am your host, Tommy Joe, alongside my co-host here,
Alex Reckless.
And we are back, baby. We are back in business. Dun 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 dun. Fly on the wall.
Oh.
Yeah. So we took a little bit of a hiatus. An unintentional hiatus of the past couple of weeks. Jack got married. Congratulations, Jack and Brienne. The new Mr.
Excuse
Rude.
me. Excuse me.
The new Mr. Well, I don't know if we're dropping last names here, but anyway, the happily married Jack and Brienne.
Does Jack use his last name on Funks?
I don't know. So I don't want to name drop their last names, but I mean, I'm sure anyone who listens to us knows who we are anyway. But
it's the Mr. and Mrs. BJ. That's what it's. It's
B and J, okay? B and J. It's like a
Bree Jack,
JB, Jack Black. Anyway, so we had not a lot of time after recording. Well, I didn't have a lot of time after recording the last episode for Bristol to edit it and put it out. And then we got down there, and we were supposed to record an episode down there with Jack. However, Alex got there really late on Friday, and Jack got there late on Friday. So it didn't work. But it is what it is. But the wedding was great. I gave the best man speech.
The best man speech.
Thank you. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was a beautiful wedding. Unfortunately, I had to be inside, which I'm actually not that upset about. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, everyone had a good time, but It was hot as balls when we were getting ready and doing the pictures. Like, I was sweating.
It was hot.
I was sweating. And that was a 3-piece suit.
I know.
I saw you. And that jacket was thick. Thick.
Double C. Thick.
Yes. Thick with three C's.
Oh.
3 C's. But yeah, it was a great time. I got really drunk.
Yeah, you did.
My whole thing was just to maintain a buzz up until I gave the speech, and then it was party time. Mm-hmm. I did that, and then I drove home the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that espresso, double espresso shot from that very expensive coffee shop helped a lot.
What about when we were racing each other?
That's right. Yeah. So on the way down there, we were
on the way back.
Well, but on the way down there, we were racing our other friends that were going down there, staying at the house that we were staying at, and then on the way back, I ended up racing back with Alex, back against Alex. And
he ended up being my spotter, telling me my tire looked low.
Yeah, it looked like it had a little tire rub on the left,
Ran over some debris, had a leak.
Had a leak, and I
had to get a pit stop.
Yeah, we had to stop down and and
got it done.
Yeah, we got it done. And then it was a long drive home. But hey, we got to go to Buc-ee's. I went to Buc-ee's twice. Buc-ee's is fucking amazing. And like on the drive down, I passed by so many racetracks.
Yeah.
We drove past Dover.
Yeah.
I didn't drive by Dover, but we went past
through Dover, Delaware.
We passed Richmond.
So the signs went right past Richmond. Saw the signs for Darlington.
The Rock.
Richmond, yeah.
No, The Rock.
New.
Oh my God.
Carolina.
North Carolina. The Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
North Carolina Speedway. Rockingham.
Saw that, yeah.
Rockingham. That's The Rock. Oh my God, wow.
Sorry.
Rockingham. What else did we see going down there?
There was one I saw like on my map. I just saw like an oval just going by on the map. I'm like, what is that? And I saw the lights through the trees, and it was just a dirt track right off the highway. Yeah.
And then I passed by a couple of other interesting things. Passed by Elliot and was it Hermie and Elliot Sadler's restaurant?
Something like that.
Or Pit Stop, something like that.
Grab that belt right there.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. The other one's on the bag right by the hats. Mel and I, my great partner Mel and I, we stopped at a on the bottom. Do you see the paper bag by down? Yeah. We stopped at a.
There's like 2 rows of hats here.
I know. I have a lot of hats. We stopped at Trackside Antiques in Selma, North Carolina. They had some cool stuff. I actually ended up buying a Jeff Gordon 124 diecast, pretty cheap, and then I ended up buying a couple of belt buckles that are Jeff Gordon from the 90s. Sweet ass heavy
pretty
belt
sweet,
buckles.
yeah. Like
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the Winston Cup champion is cool, but
I like
this,
that one. But
the
that's
rainbow
cool.
one
Yeah.
is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah. Boy, that's Dover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the next weekend.
Yes, that was the next weekend. And then once we got back from back from South Carolina, it was go time to get the camper ready.
Yeah, we were getting it together a lot to really.
It was a bit of a time crunch because the propane didn't want to work.
No, Tom was like, I want to check the heater and make sure it worked.
Because it looked like it was going to get cold.
Yep.
And it did. We had to use it.
Yeah, you used it. Again, like, I don't know what it was. I guess it was that fan that you had blowing towards you. Like, my little bunk, like my side, I had the curtains drawn, and I was cool.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool for me. Like, until I opened it, like, I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, oh my God, it's warm in here. That heater is working.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a little bit of a last minute. Want to give a shout out to Amazon and Amazon Prime for getting our shit here in time. But yeah, you know, we finally got to use this camper that we've been talking about, and you know, we'll talk a little bit more of that later on. We'll give a recap of, you know, what we saw of the races and our you know, just the travel, the camping, and our overall experience of going to Dover.
Yeah.
But we did miss Talladega. I listened to the broadcast coming back up.
I didn't watch it. I don't know a thing about Talladega other than who won. Busch.
And Larson and Freese. Direct.
Yeah.
So
well,
so
I would also like to make a comment of the main leaders of Talladega. Wallace has won.
Yeah, Wallace.
I think
Wallace
it was Wallace and Blaney were.
Yeah, they were up front a lot.
They were the main, like, they were the guys to beat until the last lap.
Yeah.
Where, you know, and people are blaming him, but any driver does it. You don't want too many blocks.
No. I mean, the way that I saw that unfold was that he already had the contact because it was Blaney that he was throwing blocks on. Yeah. So he already had that one block that pushed him below the apron, and then he went back up the track. I wouldn't even say he even threw another block. Like, he was just really loose.
Okay.
And the fact that he was able to keep the car under control over all that. I mean, I'm sure if he's looking at it again, he probably would have just stayed high and let Blaney go. Block Busch. No.
I don't. I just know. Again, it's from reading stuff. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, he blocked. He's bad at driving," but, like, you know, people are gonna block. It's the last lap. Talladega's a super speedway. You're gonna block. That's what you do.
Because if he stayed low, that top line would have dissipated. And the top line would have dissipated because it wasn't stacked like the bottom was stacked. But I mean, it's the nature of super speedway racing.
That's that racing.
Yeah. Also, another crazy thing that happened at Talladega was we saw the first really bad wreck in a next-gen car.
I mean, there was a couple, but this one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
At least the first T-bone.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time where we saw the cage break.
But it's the passenger side.
Yeah, the passenger side's not as reinforced as the driver's side. The driver's side, there's more bars and there's steel plates.
Even inside the car, around the driver, in the middle, there's more bars there to protect.
Yeah.
That side, you need, you know, just like on the front or now in the back, it needs to give.
Yeah.
And that's what that car did.
Yeah, I think they could definitely improve it. I mean, it can give in better ways because, I mean, another scary thing is, like, what if, you know, he gets stabbed? What if the driver gets stabbed with the cage from the other side? Mm-hmm. But I mean, the car did its job. Larson raced the next week. Larson got out of his car. Priest got out of his car. Mm-hmm. Probably a little shooken up. I mean, they may not be as aggressive when they go back to Dega, mm-hmm. or Atlanta, whichever is first. I can't think off the top of my head.
I don't know.
But I mean, since Dale died, NASCAR has implemented so many safety changes to the sport where we have not lost another life in the 3 National Touring Series since February 18th, 2001.
Yeah.
And I think people have become... They forgot that, racing of speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour is actually dangerous. Like you can't make the car... like death proof.
No,
you can't. Mm-mm. I mean, Priest hit Larson going because I would want to say between 160 and 170. I want to say that's because he didn't really lift. Like he lifted, but he didn't break.
There's
and he was still
the reaction time and how much you can
exactly.
And the brakes are even toned down on those tracks mm-hmm. because you're not using them other than getting off pit road, and even then it's a long braking period. Just think, if you were in your street car, you could die at going 70.
So you could die doing 50,
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
These guys are crashing, at upward, 150 plus.
Yeah. And they're walking out of the cars. They're not getting helped out of the cars. They're walking out of the cars.
They're climbing out under their own power and walking away.
It's just... People just love to hate on this car. I mean, is the car perfect? Absolutely not.
It's only the second year.
There's plenty of room for improvement.
I think just seeing that image, because we've seen,
Oh, it's scary. It's very scary to look at.
Even in the older cars.
Yeah.
Again, it's made to give.
What about when Waltrip wrecked? I think it was at Bristol.
Bristol, yeah.
And the car just literally
ripped apart.
Or when was that Morgan Shepherd or Mike Harmon that also hit the wall at Bristol and his car split in two?
Yeah, and almost got hit by got hit by another car.
Exactly.
Without the cocoon that is in the cars now. Mm-hmm. Like when that happened, his whole side was
exposed.
Yeah. He got out of the car that way.
Yeah,
no, these cars are definitely the most safest cars that they've been in.
Because people say, "Oh, they took 20 years. They went back with the safety." How? Who died?
Right.
Who died?
Who's died since 20 years?
So there was what 3 drivers with concussions last year. Kurt Busch with the career-ending concussion. However,
I thought was it 3 or 2? Kurt Busch.
It was Kurt Busch, Bowman.
Juniors before the next gen.
Exactly. Well, I'm pretty sure there was a third one. Maybe it was just the 2.
There could be a third, but just not as notable of as driver.
Yeah, but I'm like the fact. Concussion 20 years ago, there was no such thing as concussion protocol testing.
Yeah.
That's what led to Junior retiring early. Mm-hmm. I mean, he says he wrote a book about it, not about concussions, but just about his career and stuff like that, but he touched on concussions, and they didn't know what concussions were back. Like they
I'm sure these guys got their bells wrong.
Oh, of course,
and walked out like, oh. Well, it hurt a little bit and got right back in, but they shouldn't have. That's exactly what
they did, No, they shouldn't have. I mean, Junior would say like there was times where he would just get angry, like he would be so full of rage after getting into these wrecks, like lingering, like he would just be mad, not like mad that he was in it, but he would just be like his fuse would be so short. That's a concussion.
Yeah.
They didn't know it back then. Now they test for concussions.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back, I'm sure Kurt has had plenty of concussions. Mm-hmm. They never tested it, Or they probably wouldn't say anything because they didn't want to get taken out of the car.
Right.
Now they test you for it, Where you can't, I mean, I guess there are certain things you could probably lie on it. But I mean, your body's going to tell them if you have a concussion or not.
Yeah, you
can't really hide it.
No. There's definitely certain things that your body just shows that you haven't. I mean, all sports do it now.
Yeah.
and there are clear symptoms that you show when you have even a mild concussion. So.
Yeah, but like, I just don't get where people say, "Oh, this is the most unsafe car," when literally no one's died.
No, everybody has walked away.
There's two drivers that are probably gonna have. Well, there's one driver with the medical waiver, and there's another driver probably gonna have another medical waiver. You know what they were doing? Not racing the next gen car when they got injured.
No.
You had Chase Elliott that was snowboarding, and you had Alex Bowman racing sprint cars.
Yeah.
You know?
Those cars are dangerous.
Those cars are super dangerous. I mean, someone died, 2 weeks ago? 2-3 weeks ago?
They should cancel those cars. No more sprint car racing.
Yeah, no more dirt racing. But it's like, people just love to fucking complain. And that brings me into my next point. Legacy Motor Club announced today that they are switching manufacturers and they are moving forward with Toyota in 2024.
Damn cheating Yoders, let's go. If Toyota cheats so much, maybe they'll finally win again.
Yeah, right. I mean, as a Chevy fan and a Jimmy Johnson fan, I mean,
you raced Honda and
yeah.
So
but, I mean,
it's not.
That's
it's
just
not,
how. That's just how that worked, because they already had their relationship with Chip Ganassi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it kind of, because I mean, it bothered me a little bit that he wasn't racing a Chevy in IndyCar. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I still pulled for him. You know.
Yeah.
I bought merch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's my guy. He's Jimmy Johnson. You know. And like, as I was saying, as a Chevy fan and as a Jimmy Johnson fan, I'm a little like about it. You know, but I'm still gonna support him because like, look. There's no way that there's no way that they're going to get anywhere near the level of the totem pole of RCR and well, probably not even RCR. Hendrick Motorsports, and I'd say Trackhouse is probably team number 2 right now. I mean, it's got to be close between Trackhouse and RCR.
Besides New Dale, Kyle.
Well, yeah, I was saying, but like as far as like last year goes,
yeah,
I would say like the pecking order would have been Hendrick Motorsports, Trackhouse, RCR, Colleague, Petty GMS, you know, and Inspire.
Yeah,
but I
Petty
mean,
GMS was like nothing.
There's not enough room up there for Petty GMS for now Legacy to know get up there. So as long as this is a true second team, like a true second Toyota team where all they're getting from Joe Gibbs is the engines.
Next
I'm sure,
to 2311.
Yeah, because I'm sure that's the only thing that I know Denny was saying that there's also other parts that are manufactured for the car, which I'm sure they're going to get those from Gibbs as well. But I mean, as long as it's a true second car and not another satellite team for Joe Gibbs Racing, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
If they can make them do better this year, they can make them do better next year than they are this year. I'm okay with it.
I mean,
because their performance this year has been terrible, and like we were talking about earlier before the podcast, how I mean, where do you point the finger? Because I mean, Richard obviously it wasn't making the shots last year. I mean, he was a minority owner last year, and he wasn't making the shots. I mean, he doesn't. The fuck's he gonna know about these fucking next gen cars? You know what I mean?
Nothing. He hasn't known anything about these cars for years.
I mean, maybe the '80s, but
maybe the '90s.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, definitely Gen 5, 6, and now 7. Nothing. I don't know really what's changed because when Jimmy Johnson came in, he really took over like the marketing, the sponsorships, media, and just like the management, talent management. That's really what he came in and
office
like front office stuff. But like the race team is still GMS.
Right.
That's still GMS. It's still the same 2 cars, still same 2 teams from last year. You know, so what happened? Because I mean, Noah's gotten some bad luck, but I mean, even Eric Jones, he was starting to shine at the end of last year.
Just a little bit, but
I mean, he got that win at Darlington.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were starting to shine. He was putting up good, solid top 15s, top 10s. And now like they're lucky if they get a top 20. Like
they're back where they were.
Yeah, like that. That's a good day for them for finishing top 20.
Yeah.
I mean.
this move, Toyota, we said, I think we touched on it. Like,
Toyota
wants more teams. They want more cars on the track in NASCAR. They wouldn't put their badge on a team if they didn't think they were going to do good.
No.
So I don't see this being a bad move for Toyota or Legacy Motorsports. And I think we will see, hopefully, we should see that 43 and 42 start to perform well again.
And you know who has experience with Toyota? Eric Jones and Noah Gragson.
Yes.
So, that may have influenced Toyota's decision and may have influenced Jimmy's and Maury Gallagher's decision.
Could have been, yeah.
These two already have history with Toyota.
Yeah.
Just got to see how it goes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would say that the Toyotas are probably second to Chevy right now.
Yeah, I would say so. Penske's cars are there.
Penske's car, but they're not consistent every week. You know what I mean? There's at least always a one or two good Toyotas every week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it might be more, but there's always like one or two. Like Bell might be doing really good, or Denny might be doing really good, or Reddick might be doing really good. You know, there always seems to be at least one, or Truex seems to be doing really good. There always seems to be one or two that shine more
Toyotas
than the rest.
Up in the top 5, 10.
Where like Penske could be like they're all three of them are running in the top 5, or no one's in the top 10. You know, like. They seem to be very inconsistent this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like look at Dover. Blaney was running in the top 5, like top 5, top 10 majority of the race. Where the hell was Cedric and Logano?
Right.
You good?
I got the hiccups.
All right. But yeah, because there hasn't been one team. Hendrick has 4 wins, but even like,
I'm sorry, sorry guys. I just got. I have water. I got water.
Yeah. Amateurs.
Listen, I don't know what happened. I was just sitting here talking, man.
I know. Probably talking too much bullshit. Yes. So it seems like there's not like one team that's firing on all cylinder. I guess maybe. Because Ford's fast at the super speedways. They were fast at Atlanta. But they really seem to be off everywhere else. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, you have Legacy MC going to Toyota in 24, and I hope it works out for them, you know?
I do. I think it will.
We'll probably touch on that again when we get the Darth comment of the week, because as you could imagine, the number 43 on a Toyota is sending people into a frenzy.
Not that it's been on any other manufacturer in NASCAR.
I think the 43 has been on more manufacturers than any other number in the sport.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Also, since our last episode, NASCAR has announced the top 75 greatest drivers list. So back in 1998, for the 50th anniversary of NASCAR, they made the top 50 drivers of NASCAR. And now that we're 25 years later, they're looking at the top 75, and they're adding 25 drivers to that list. There's already been some notable names, some surprising ones. But I'm glad it's not just Cup guys. Like, they're adding, real good, talented drivers. Like Mike Stefanik. I think Ron Hornaday in?
I believe so.
It's nice to see,
They put Corey LaJoy's father.
Yeah, right. They put Randy LaJoy in there. He was in the, I believe the Busch Series. I think it was. He was really good in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the thing that I don't get is why people complain about who's in and who's not in, because it's not over yet. Like Kyle Busch isn't on there yet. Obviously, Kyle Busch is going to be on there. Jimmy Johnson is going to be on there. It's been 25 years and there's been less than 25 champions. So every champion from 98 and on is going to be in there unless they previously already were. You know what I mean?
Right.
So obviously they're going to be in there, you know? So, I mean, if you're a champion, you have to be in there. So, Truex was just announced today. Keselowski was announced. You know, he was another one. They had Tony Stewart already?
He was like one of the first to get announced.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah,
Remember
he was the first one, yeah.
On air?
Yeah. Bobby Labonte was added. I could probably pull up the list, actually. So I'm not guessing and sounding like an idiot. News. There we go. Maybe you could. I highly doubt. Oh, perfect. So,
Junior.
So, you have Stewart, which is obvious choice. Casey Kane, that was an interesting one. Especially so early, because that was the second one they announced. Mike Stefanik, Randy LaJoy, Kyle Larson, I mean, obviously. Greg Biffle, that was another, I mean, that's deserving.
I would say so.
I mean, he had races up against Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, back then, like, when Jimmy Johnson was winning those championships, if there was anyone that was going to dethrone Hendrick Motorsports, it was Jack Roush.
Yeah. Biffle and
Carl Edwards.
Who
Matt
I think
Kenseth,
they also named. Yeah.
You have Sterling Marlin, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Carl Edwards, Ron Hornaday Jr., Jeff Burton. That one surprised me. Jeff Burton.
I guess just the you know.
I mean, 21 Cup wins. I mean,
just being in for as long as he has. I mean, a couple of Coca-Cola and Southern 500, like, you know, a couple of the Crown Jewel races, but
Dale Jr. Like I said, Dale Jr. I think his talent goes. I think his legacy goes beyond his talents in the car and more for what he's doing. He's an ambassador for the sport.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, that's what it says here. But I mean, I've always said that like he's like an ambassador for the sport, and he's also like the sports historian. You know, because he's doing a great job of chronicling the sports history. You know, and preserving it and putting it in media that's going to be viewed for years to come.
Yeah.
But you know, he has 26 wins in the Cup Series. He has two-time Daytona 500 champion, two-time Xfinity Series champion.
He definitely has the numbers.
Yeah.
For NASCAR as a whole.
Yeah, like he's an all-around good pick. You know, Bobby Labonte and Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski. Obviously, Jimmy Johnson's going to be on there. Kyle Busch is going to be on there. Maybe even Kurt Busch. Definitely Kurt Busch. He's a champion. So Kurt Busch is definitely going to get added, you know? So out of the 25, they've added, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So they've added 17 already.
Okay.
Still plenty to go, you know? But yeah. I just see people getting upset, like, oh, why is this person on there? Why is this person on there? It's not fucking done yet.
No.
You know? I really feel like they're just putting it in at random. Like, I feel like they named Truex now because he won. You know?
Good, yeah.
But we'll see, you know? I don't think the rest of the list should be that much of a surprise. What?
I can't stop.
I'm just trying to ignore it.
I know.
I'm just gonna mute your mic. So anyway, how was your weekend, Alex?
Got rain. I was moist.
Yeah, it was a very, very moist weekend.
We did get to see sub-green flag laps, though.
Yes, we did. So
100 to be exact.
Yes. So
100 of the 200 Xfinity laps.
Saturday morning, we packed up. Well, this week we packed up. Saturday morning, we loaded up and we left in pouring rain, which was fun. We got down to Delaware, got down to Dover. I gotta say, you know, after going to Bristol last year, my expectations for this were much higher. because Bristol was just done so well. They had buses, they had trams, and they had shuttles. Mm-hmm. There was 3 modes of transportation for free to get you to and from your campsite, and the loading process was streamlined. Everything about Bristol was just great, and I'm like, I can't wait to go back to Bristol again whenever we do go to Bristol. Mm-hmm. So granted, weather played a big issue this weekend, but it played a big issue when we went to Bristol. Because we went to Dover last year, and I feel like we had a new. I don't remember cars parking where we parked in years prior. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, like maybe they're making improvements to Dover too. So I was like, all right, let's give camping another shot at Dover. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, I still want to go again. So I'm not not knocking it, not disappointed. Just some things about the weekend kind of put like a bad taste in my mouth. Okay. So for some reason, I don't know who thought this would be a good idea, but they wanted it. So there's a bunch of lots over at Dover, like camping lots, and they all wanted everyone to check in at the same lot. And then you check in, you get your credentials, and then you go to your lot, and then you go get your spot. So we roll up. I think the gates opened up at 8. They should have opened up at 8, and then we got there around like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, not too long, not too late.
And there's just a line of campers, and everyone's just out there just chilling.
Like they were sitting there.
Like they were sitting, like their chairs were out. They were chilling, drinking beers, and we're like, "Fuck." So
you were like, "Oh no, yeah, the gates are open. We should,
Yeah.
I was like, "These guys are sitting."
Yeah. So first, like there was like, other than the initial like entrance into where registration was, there was no signs for anything else.
Yeah.
So we're all just looking around, and then like I almost cut them off. And then I went back and I circled around and I went back to the back of the line. So now we're just waiting, and we were probably there for like a half hour. And like, you know what, I want to call. Mm-hmm. So I call the Speedway. I'm like, hey.
You Sharoned. You didn't Karen, but you Sharoned.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, is the camping registration open? And he's like, yeah, it opened up at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, are you sure? Because it's not moving. He goes, well, I'm not there, but it should be moving. And I'm like, I lied. Well, we've been here for a couple hours, and it hasn't moved once. I mean, I was going on behalf of what the guys in front of us were telling me. So I'm like, we've been here for a couple hours, and it hasn't moved once. So he's like, I wouldn't recommend. Like, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but like, I would just go to where you're supposed to go camp at, go there, and then go back to lot 1 and then register later. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll go do that. And then I think it was like a matter of like we were like 5 minutes later.
Like, oh, we're gonna wait like 15 or 30 minutes.
I don't think it was even 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, we're moving. You see everyone like get their
pack up and start driving.
And then a guy comes up to me and he goes, oh, where are you going? I'm like, oh, we're going to lot 9. He's like, oh, just go straight there. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I go, I wonder if my phone call changed any of that. We get to lot 9. That's where our credentials were. Mm-hmm. We could have just gone right to lot 9. There was nothing on Facebook, nothing on the app. Yeah. No communication whatsoever about where to check in. That kind of pissed me off. That rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah. Because that would have saved us at least an hour.
It would have. We sat there for a good 45 minutes.
I also said on the phone, like, hey, like the rate that we've been here, we're probably going to miss the Xfinity race. Mm-hmm. And, and we got here earlier, so we wouldn't, And so we finally check in, and there's just no communication. Like, I looked everywhere for it to see, like, maybe I missed it, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I was driving, but I checked Facebook. There was no updates. I checked the Dover app. There was no updates. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So that kind of pissed me off, and even the guy on the phone didn't know. Yeah,
I think it definitely. Weather definitely had to play a role in that, because where the registration stand was like flooded.
Oh, it was flooded. Yeah.
So, but they should have said something that they weren't going there. Yeah. To everybody else, and then they passed that along to people coming in. Exactly. So. It's definitely on weather, but it's also on the people that were there. Mm-hmm. That the communication, that's the first line. Yeah. So,
like the theme of the weekend was lack of communication.
Yeah.
Between Dover and fans.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally get all settled in. We all get all unloaded, and we set up the pop up, and that was fun, wasn't it? Trying, because remember I thought the door was on the other side, and I'm lining up, and like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck yeah, the door's on the other side. So then I had to turn around, and everyone's just staring at us.
We were going into one spot, and I'm like lining them up perfectly, and then I'm like walking through the because it's grass, and I'm like walking, and I can just hear a squish, squish. I'm like, oh, it sounded like from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, the
what's his name? Whatever his name is squelching, wet squelching.
Yes, wet squelching. Yes,
that's exactly what it
sounded like.
And so and then I walked over to the next spot, and I'm like, this is not moist. Yes. I'm like, Tom, we're gonna go over to this spot. Get him in, and that's what I think when you put the door on the wrong side.
Yeah, I was like,
so we moved it, but once we like got settled, like our spot was like set up perfectly. Yeah,
it was. We got all nice and leveled, and it was funny because I was worried we weren't going to be able to get the trailer off the truck, because when we were jacking up the front of the trailer, the wood we had just kept going deeper into the ground.
No, eventually
it started picking up. Yeah. I was like, oh no.
No, but we got set up. We put our the tent outside, and you bought the blocker wall thing.
Yeah,
that gave us a nice privacy.
We could show our setup like right here. I mean, it was a pretty good setup.
I'll send you those pictures if you haven't taken any.
Yeah,
but really nice. We got all ready, and even doing the video game inside.
Yeah. So we brought I brought a TV. I brought a PS2. I brought NASCAR Thunder 2003, NASCAR 2005, and we're playing that. That was fun.
Yeah,
like it was just pure nostalgia. Just playing that, that was fun. And then what else was there for Dover? So eventually the sun came out at some point on Saturday, which surprised all of us because then it got warm.
Got very hot. I always wear my shorts.
Yeah, because I was looking at the forecast, and I thought it wasn't really going to get much warmer than 60. So I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be cloudy. It's going to be cold. I'll just bring my pants. The one good thing about camping at Dover, which I can't say for other tracks, but the tracks that I know that I've been to, the good thing about camping at Dover is you're right by a mall.
It's on like a main strip.
It's on a highway.
I know. How many tracks have I been to that's like that? Bristol, kinda. They got some of the stores around the area.
Yeah, but maybe Daytona, because Daytona's built up around the Speedway.
Yeah.
But if you're in, I don't know how easily accessible it is when you're camping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as Dover, it's really easy to get to a store if you need something.
Yeah.
Because I ended up going to the mall and getting shorts.
I mean, that's all. I mean, just a little sidetrack. That's the whole reason Millville is very built up in New Jersey, because of the racetrack. That apparently before that track, there were none of those stores that are on that main strip going in. None. Yeah. And then they built the track, and they built that all up to have like motorsports there.
Yeah, that never happened.
Never happened. But yeah, so like there are. I assume there are some tracks that are like that, but Dover really is like it's just on that main highway, strip, and there's just
Dover Downs. You got the casino, you got the racetrack, and you got the mall.
I mean, one of the roads to get in, there's a Home Depot right there.
Yeah, so. I mean, which is great for camping. I mean, you lose a grill, lose a tent. Like we have in the past. I remember one year having to go buy a grill because mine just wouldn't work.
Luckily, our tent didn't fly away onto another camper.
No, luckily that didn't happen. I got the new generator this year. Got one of those Harbor Freight Predator 3500 inverter generators.
Nice and quiet.
Everyone else had their loud ass generator though.
I've been doing this for as long as we've been camping now. Even when I go out anywhere, I put earplugs in. I just know to do it. I bring earplugs and I sleep like a baby.
I need sound when I sleep because of my tinnitus. It just,
I have it too.
It just, I hear the ringing, and then just all I hear, and I go crazy. So I need at least like fan noise, like just like a white noise. I was tired, so I went to sleep. Like, noise doesn't bother me. Noise doesn't bother me when I sleep. But it was kind of a rowdy crowd.
Oh my god, our neighbors were so bad.
Yeah, at one point they shot a firework.
They shot
to a firecracker or something into someone else's car.
I don't know what they were trying to aim at, but it went right underneath somebody else's car.
Yeah.
The fire marshal. They were all right outside their exit.
Yeah, the fire marshal was right there, and then they didn't do anything. So I don't know. It was strict, like no firework policy.
Don't shoot your fireworks off. They were doing it in lot 10.
Well, that was the Speedway, though.
No, after it, though.
Oh, yeah, they were.
Apparently, lot 10 is...
lot 10 is the party lot, but we have a pop-up, so we're not allowed in.
Yeah.
Well, we're not allowed in with the pop-up. But, a lot of lot 2 was flooded. Like, we're in a Dover camping page, and, like, people were posting pictures of... Because it downpoured the night before. Like, it downpoured hard. And, like, I know...
Even still driving down in it.
Yeah. And I know people that were in our lot, in lot 9, in tents, and they had to bail and get a hotel just because they couldn't...
It's too much water.
Yeah, like if we took the Buffoon, you would have got stuck. With those tires.
Yeah, with those tires, yeah,
you would have got stuck. Those tires, the weight of everything, you would have been stuck.
Yeah. I need better tires.
Yeah, I don't doubt the capability of that getting out with proper tires, but with those tires, you weren't getting out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Saturday we saw the Xfinity race after looking at all the merch tents and all this and that, and avoiding big ass puddles.
Yeah.
But the sun came out and it was a nice day. The fan zone. We kind of caught the tail end of the fan zone, which kind of sucked.
That's what it is.
We thought we might have had a little time on Sunday before the race to catch it, but Sunday was a complete wash.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we saw the last 100 laps of the Xfinity race.
We got there halfway through.
Yeah,
which is fine.
I think we got there at the beginning of stage 3, so I think it was the last.
No, I think stage 3 started. I'm pretty sure we saw 100 laps, maybe a couple more.
It was only 200 laps.
Yeah, we may have seen maybe 110. Maybe. We got there, and shortly after we sat down, it was 100. It was 100 to go.
But it was a interesting race. There wasn't really there weren't any cautions in that.
I know walking through all the merch, all the merch haulers, we keep catching it, and you hear there were a lot of cautions in the first 2 stages.
Yeah,
and then stage 3 decided green flag racing.
Yeah, and then,
which is fine.
Yeah. So you had I don't want to say hometown, but home track boy Ryan Truex getting his first win. Mm-hmm. Just like his brother did,
Yeah.
Getting his first win over at Dover.
Yep.
Good. Fuck Joe Gibbs, but good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Truex.
That's our. We're from Jersey. They're from Jersey. So
good for them. I was actually going to name this episode the Super Truex Bros.
Nice, I like it.
Because the Truex brothers sweet.
Yeah. This is apparently only a second time.
Yeah.
The second or third that brothers have swept a weekend.
I think the Bush brothers did it once.
They weren't listed.
No, really? Surprised. But yeah, the Xfinity race was, it was good. There just wasn't really any. There wasn't really
the 19
any
car was strong.
It was there was multiple second leads, so
yeah,
we didn't really get to watch much of it. But for what we watched, it was good to see racing, And then after the race, we could have stayed for the ARCA race, but we decided not to. And then there was an AC/DC cover band there.
Yep.
And then once we got back to the trailer, we played more of the PS2. Made some more stuff on the Black. We got to get sponsored by Blackstone.
Sure.
because like that grill is just awesome.
It is a nice grill.
You know, ever since I got that, it just made cooking so much easier. Because like cooking on the cooking on Grill Earnhardt, it's just a little difficult.
No, yeah, that was a small grill and just
it wasn't. It didn't cook even, and it was bad. It was cool. I mean, it's a grill that looks like a keg, and it's got Dale Earnhardt stickers on it. I mean, it was pretty cool. But I mean, that Blackstone's serious. Then we got that hooked up now to the camper.
Yep, you got that long hose.
Another like, we don't need another propane tank. But overall it was a good weekend. You know, we learned some things about the camper. You know, things that we wouldn't know until we go out and experience it and try it out. But Sunday was a complete wash, and there was a very, very, very short time that there was a window between like 11:30 and like 3:34 where I thought they could get the race in. And as quickly as that window opened, because we were checking the weather like every 5 minutes, as quickly as that window opened, it shut.
Yeah, I mean, even when that window was, I was looking at the radar, and there was Dover, and it was just green right next to it. So like it was
because I like the radar was showing it was kind of like breaking away around Dover, like it was going north, going south.
But
then
west.
it didn't do any of that, and it just went straight over Dover.
Yeah,
because we were trying our gameplay, because originally it was a very small window. It was like an hour or two, and so like, all right, once it dies down, we're gonna pack up, we're gonna load up, we're gonna go head to the track and see what we could see. If we can get a race, great. If not, we'll go home.
Right.
And then as we're like getting ready to pack up, I go and check the Dover app. And they called the race already at 10:30, and I think it was like 11 o'clock by the time we already saw it. So we're like, well, great, we're waiting for nothing then. But because we weren't able to stay till Monday. But yeah. So I watched like the first half hour of the race on my lunch break.
Yeah.
And then I listened to the rest of it, and then I think I watched like the last 30 laps.
I didn't see the end, but I did watch a good portion of the first half of the race.
There was one point where there was a really good battle between Truex and Chastain. Well, I guess before we get into that, is there anything that you wanted to bring up about the race? About,
Oh, the Larson incident.
Yeah.
It was all Kyle Larson's fault.
Yeah.
He should have seen that the one car was gonna cause a crash and avoided it. It was all of his fault.
Yeah, Larson didn't give clearly enough room to Ross.
Not at all.
No. So I don't think this was a stop on the Ross Chastain Don't Give a Fuck tour.
No.
I think this was Brennan Poole not realizing who was behind him and not realizing that there was someone behind him. I think if there's anyone to blame, maybe the spotter. Because if you look at the in-car cameras, it looks like Larson and Chastain are carrying the same speed. It's not like Chastain just drove right through him.
No.
And pushed him up the track. Poole got out of the throttle way too early.
Very early in the turn. And how are you supposed to know, that the person in front of you is just going to let off that early,
I mean, you're racing for position at that point, I mean, it's...
Ross had Kyle right behind him.
Yeah.
He can't just let him go.
No. And then you get people being like, oh, well, Kyle knew that it was Chastain. What the fuck does Kyle know? He's in the car.
So many people...
Does he have is he watching the fucking replay on his fucking dash?
Yeah.
No.
So many people are calling this the Ross and Kyle incident again, and it's like, it's not.
Kyle was the innocent bystander of the whole thing. This was Brennan Poole acting like a rookie driver that he is, and he got to the throttle way too early with Ross Chastain behind him. He got in
the way.
At the end of the day, it's a racing incident. Plain as day, it's a racing incident. But I mean, it sucks for him. It sucks for Larson. I feel like he's having just a really. I mean, granted, he has 2 wins, but he's having a very unlucky season. But man, 9:30. What are we at already? Oh, sure. We've been recording for almost an hour.
Brr.
Yes. So I guess we'll start making this a little bit quick.
Well,
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So Kyle Larson, another shitty day.
So, all right, we already covered that Martin one, right?
Yeah. So Mark Martin won. Yeah.
Mark Martin's back in the car.
Ryan Truex. My God, I'm tired. Martin Truex Jr. breaks I think it was like a 56, 58 drought. 56 winless drought.
Yeah.
With this win here.
That's why I was on my phone before. I was trying to find the brothers, and I just couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it.
Everything was just about this weekend.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish I was able to see it in person, but it looked like it was getting pretty interesting. I was like, damn, like we're actually missing a good battle for lead. Granted, the first like everyone was up, like I think everyone up to like 12th was like lapped.
Yeah, I mean it happens with Dover because apparently this had a lot more. I think this race had a lot more green flag racing.
Oh, it did, yeah.
So there was a lot more fuel and tire strategy,
Yes.
which you don't usually see.
Well, because on that last stop, because Ross Chastain is one of the, I would say like Ross Chastain and William Byron have the best pit crews this season, and I think that they gambled on the 2 tires and Ross gambled on the 4 tires. I think if they both took 2 tires, Ross would have beat him out of pit road.
Martin.
Yeah, if Ross took 2 tires, he would have beat Ryan. Yeah, if Ross took 2 tires, he would have beat
Martin.
Truex.
Don't
say Martin.
Martin.
Truex. He would have taken Truex. He would have beaten him off pit road.
Okay.
And I think it would have been a much different story. Because it looked like Truex's car handled really well in clean air. Like, he was a rocket in clean air. Where I feel like in the dirty air, Ross had the better car.
Okay.
But, yeah, so that was Dover. I guess that will bring us into Darf Comment of the Week. Now, with breaking news of, as prior mentioned before, Toyota going, Legacy MC going to the Toyota, there's no shortage of Darf comments. However, we have handpicked this one for you guys. This gentleman says, "Okay, Richard, been a fan of yours for 60 or so years, but now you can kiss where the sun don't shine. No mo support or running UR 43 on my race carts. I'm sorry you let has-been influence you, sir."
Oh.
Has-been. Yeah.
Okay.
So Richard's not a has-been?
He's a bin.
Yeah, he's a been gone. Attention all Darfs and Boomers. Richard Petty does not own Legacy Motorsports.
No.
He is at best an ambassador to Legacy MC. He is not an owner in Legacy MC. This is already discussed at the beginning of the season. And if you had actually paid attention, instead of crying about something like the next-gen car or your single lugs or too many commercials or this or that or whatever, if you actually paid attention to what was going on, you would know that Richard Petty is no longer an owner of Legacy MC. And it's Maury Gallagher and Jimmy Johnson.
Petty has like a quarter with it in it.
Yeah.
Like this much. I mean, even before, I don't think he had, the say he had was really...
No. But there's just so many comments like that,
Everybody's...
Or they want Dodge back. Like, do they not realize that, like, Petty raced literally almost every brand under the sun that was in NASCAR?
Yeah. It isn't a surprise to race something else.
Like, Petty raced Mopar. Petty raced Plymouth, which falls under Mopar. But Dodge, Mopar...
Pontiac.
Oldsmobile, Pontiac...
Ford.
Well, I mean... Yeah, Ford, yeah. Chevrolet. I guess the one he was most loyal to was Dodge.
Well, I mean, when the famous 43 Daytona Charger, but like he's raced them all.
Yeah. I don't think there's a manufacturer that he hasn't raced, and even as an owner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he raced everything but Toyota that's out there. You know, I mean, like
I never saw a loyalty to the 43.
Never, no.
You can't look at a 43 and be like that manufacturer.
No.
Again, other than the Superbird, the Charger.
Because he even raced Fords in the 60s and 70s. He raced Fords, you know? I mean,
people like to imagine that big wing on the Charger.
That was like 2 years.
Yeah.
If that. It might have just been a year, you know?
But, you see
69.
all these pictures of the 43, and they're all on, it's always a different car.
Always.
So, I don't see the issue.
No.
Other than you with Jimmy, but I don't see.
But still, I'm not like ranting on Facebook like, oh, how could you do this to me? Like, I ain't supporting you anymore, Mr. Johnson.
Damn you, Jimmy!
I wish he stuck with Chevy, but hey, it is what it is.
You're running him to the ground.
So, don't forget to tweet us at Armchairs Richard Podcast.
We gotta talk about SP.
Well, we're not done yet.
Oh.
I got that's the draft comment of the week. You fucking ruined it.
SP.
So
Cold open. SP.
Anyway, don't forget to tweet us your stupid comments at Armchairs Racers Podcast on Twitter. Now, next week, we're at Kansas Speedway, which is known in the NASCAR shitposting world as ASP, because there's a section of the AS from Kansas and the SPEE from Speedway, and it looks like ASP.
It is ASP.
It is ASP.
Kansas Speedway.
I can put it right here, ASP. Or maybe every time you're shouting ASP, I'll just show the image on the screen. So, do you think continue? I am so tired. I am sorry. Do you think Truex continues with this momentum? I don't know. I put probably not. That was probably there about Larson going into Talladega, which I was wrong because he was there up until the end.
Does he do good? Who did I pick? I gave you a pick.
You gave me something.
Did you mark it down?
Not yet, no, because I still have to finish the leaders, the points.
Who did you pick for Dega?
Dega? I picked Wallace.
Oh yeah, so you picked him after
No, I picked him before you.
Oh yeah. My curse continues. I took out Wallace. And then who did you pick for Dover?
I picked Elliott. Finished 11th. I was debating going with Barry. He finished 10th. So
I had Barry because I had Bowman, and he decided to race the not so safe sprint cars and broke his back.
Yeah,
asshole. I forget who I picked.
Reddick.
Oh, I want Red Dick.
Yeah, you picked him already, I think.
So would that be my second?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've already picked him. You did pick him. Man, you're like the first guy to just go through drivers.
Whatever.
I'm gonna have. Let's put Reddick in there. Let's see.
What did I pick him for? Where am I?
Bristol Dirt.
Interesting.
Finished second.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I did for Bree.
Oops. Who's Oops?
Bree. She didn't pick. So I had 0 points next to it. She lost the lead, unfortunately. Zach is leading now.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to finish up the rest of these, but yeah. Zach is now leading with 334 points. And I have 248. I'm not last, so that's good. I got two people behind me, so.
Where am I?
You are not doing terrible. You're 269. You're too nice.
Nice.
But yeah, so you got Kansas coming up. You have the
What are the next 5?
next 5 races. You have
Hi.
why?
Sup, Bubba?
I wanted That's not what I wanted.
You're in. What are you? You were in Logitech.
I wanted this.
Why were you in Logitech? Who'd you hit the ad?
It was an ad. So the next 5 races, you have Kansas, Darlington, the All-Stars at North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, the Coke 600, and you have Rollwide Technology in St. Louis, and then you have Sonoma Raceway, which will close out the Fox broadcast. I can't believe we're almost there. You know?
My God.
It's crazy.
Wild.
Well, it's not halfway because I mean they have the 500, they have the All-Star race, they have the Clash.
I thought NBC takes up halfway.
Yeah, I mean halfway. That's technically halfway. It's like not true halfway because you have the Clash, the Duels, and the All-Star. That's 3 extra races, you know.
Chicago. That's what I'm looking forward to. I really hope it does okay.
Man, it's like so. I feel like it's like not that far away now.
No.
Because you got.
I mean, what? That's next. That's two. It's a month.
Hey, maybe
2 months.
maybe we should go to Nashville for my birthday.
Excuse me.
No. Okay.
Hold on.
It's too close to Dover. I mean, it's a month away from
Pocono.
And it'll be a month after that. Actually, you know what? No, that'll be interesting because I've got to a race in April, and then I'll have May, and then I'll have June and July.
Yeah. Are we doing August?
I really want to do Bristol, because like the drive, we have to drive the camper all the way out there to Indy.
Would you do? All right, I'm gonna take off Indy. We're not doing it. Would you do?
Can't do the Roval. I have a wedding. Well, let's talk. We can talk about this after because we got the episode. Anyway, so here. So yeah, so the next 5 races. We got a little carried away.
I gotta pick. I don't know who I'm gonna pick.
You picked Reddick.
I know the next 5 races. I'm thinking.
You don't have to pick him right now. You doing something?
Maybe.
All right. Anyway, so we have Kansas coming up this week, and I think Truex will do all right. I mean, I think let's put a little bit more, mojo in him.
I think he'll do good. I am picking one of his teammates.
Yeah, quote unquote teammates.
I think the Toyotas are gonna.
You picked Reddick. I'll go with let's see, who's how'd they do last year? Previous NASCAR Cup race at Kansas. She hasn't won. That is way too. Oh, Bubba and Kurt Busch.
That's kind of why I went with Reddick.
Okay.
Last year, the 2311 did really good.
Kyle Larson.
And other than them, for Toyota, it's Denny Hamlin. And I mean, Busch was in, that was a Toyota at the time.
Yeah. Ever since 2019. Maybe I'll go with Hamlin.
That sounds like a good choice.
I'll go Hamlin. All right.
Team Toyota.
Moving forward. Or going places. I don't know what the fuck it is now. But anyway, so on that note, this has been episode number 12 of the Armchairs Racers Pod. This has been episode number 12 of the Armchairs Racers Podcast. I'm your host, Tommy Joe, alongside my co-host here,
SP.
And this has been it.
You gotta make it pop up now.
Remember to follow us on all our socials and tweet us at Armchair Racers Podcast. No, Armchair Racers Podcast on Funds. Oh my god, I am so tired.
Bro, Armchair
You're fucking me
Podcast
up.
on Twitter.
On Twitter,
we have our own.
Alex got it. We have our Twitter. Rock and roll.